Welcome back. Well, as you can see from the way I'm dressed, t-shirt, hoarding t-shirt, sweatband, safety glasses, today is a project day. And what we are doing today is drilling through glass. Now, we've drilled through porcelain ceramics before, but now we're hitting the hard stuff. So, stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, before we get started with drilling glass, we're going to talk about why we're drilling glass. And why we're drilling glass has to do with the fact that, of necessity, I've got a lot of extra time on my hands. Consequently, I'm making tidbit trays left and right. I'm having a good time doing it. Now, when I put together a tidbit tray, I can do it in a number of different ways, as can you. And let me show you the easy way to do it. We've got this tidbit tray, and this, as you can see, is two pieces of china. It's Japanese china in the same pattern. So, no brainer, how easy can that be? They're obviously a match. I've got another set over here, and these are two bone plates. Same pattern, one lighter, one darker, violets and light violets. Those will go together. Those will be a tidbit tray. Again, no brainer. In fact, I have one with two violet plates just sitting in my Etsy shop right now. You just don't have to think about it. The pieces automatically match. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. A piece like this is very elegant, simple, conservative. My grandmother would have loved this. She was a woman with excellent taste, but avant-garde was not her thing. So let's take a look at this. This one, and I don't know if I've listed this yet, but might be in my Etsy shop, I'm not sure. We have a Japanese lusterware plate in solid blue. We have another plate. Let me turn that around so you can see it right side up. This is an occupied Japan piece, and this is a Chinese piece. Now, let me show you that occupied Japan piece. This is interesting because it's a classical design. We've got a Greek temple here and a charioteer on the bottom. Not very Asian. Clearly, it's obviously Greek, possibly Roman. I'm not sure. It's a Japanese interpretation of a classical scene. Let's put it that way. But it's a classical Western scene. Nice piece, blue and white. This is another one of those bowls, as I had on the top of that tray. This is a Chinese grain of rice sauce dish, and it has the little grains of rice cut out. Now, the legend, and I've explained this before, but it's a cute story, so I'll tell it again. The legend is that they embed grains of rice into the porcelain, and they are burnt off in the firing process, creating these little translucent holes. Not true. What really happens is they actually cut these little shapes out, and it's filled with a translucent glaze. So when you hold it up to the light, if you run your hand behind it, you can see your fingers through the little grains of rice. Those pieces work together because we're talking about a solid blue piece and then two blue and white pieces. They could work with a blue and white plate or a solid white plate. Fine. Again, sort of no-brainer. Those are the easy matches. But those are, I find it interesting, visually interesting, in part because we have the very Chinese, here, I take that and show you again. We have a very Chinese piece on the top We have a piece, although it is occupied Japan, it's a classical Western piece, and our lusterware, which is not necessarily Japanese because the Europeans made lusterware pieces too, but you have a lot of different styles here. And that gives it interest. Let me show you something else here. This is a Japanese Mre plate. Got a little design on the bottom. If you set it on a table, you can see the designs on the underside of the plate. Classical Japanese design. It's largely red, white, and blue with some greens and golds. I am pairing this plate with this, which is a Japanese hand-drawn carriage. Again, red, white, and blue, some green, some gold, and a little bit of pink. They go together because they have Mre. This is an Mre plate. This plate has some Mre design, especially along the edges. The colors are the same. They are both Japanese. Red, white, blue, you've got your gilding. They really do work well together. Far more interesting than just combining either of these plates with a solid plate. I have another one here. This is another Mre plate. We've got our little designs on the back, and this is a geisha on a bridge. Again, we're looking at red, white, and blue. And of course, I will show you pictures of these because I understand the camera doesn't do a great job of picking them up. And, you may want to just be able to pause the picture and examine it more carefully. We've got red, white, and blue, and gold, a little bit of green. I'm matching that up with this plate. Again, red, white, and blue. We've got some gold, some green. We've also got a little pink. And these pieces work well together because they both have a lot of floral designs on them. And again, Mre touches on this plate. And of course, this is Mre. Plates like this, combinations like this, are much more visually interesting than one plain blue plate and one plain white plate. Oh, and let me show you this. I picked up this plate at Bedford Antiques a couple of weeks ago. I think this plate was probably designed to be part of a child's tea set. It's a little small for an actual adult service, and they often made children's tea sets. Oh, they're like play sets in this size. And when I saw this, and it has these 8 wedge shapes, blue, peach, the classic Japanese lusterware colors with the black outlining, I immediately thought of this plate. And this plate was one that I picked up at St. Vincent de Paul several months ago. We've got the peach, we've got the blue, we've got the black lines, and we've also got these 8 little wedge shapes. So both of them have that in common. But I'm adding a third plate to that, and that's going to be this one, which will go in the middle. And so this is what our tidbit tray is going to look like. Again, more interesting than simply combining any of these plates without the third plate in it. And if you want to sell your tidbit trays, the point is to make them look interesting. So let's take a look at this one, this final piece we're going to take a peek at today. I picked this up not too long ago. I believe I got this at Black Rose. It was a little puppy figurine. I think I spent $1 on it. This end of the puppy tail was broken off, but I sculpted a little replacement for it, and it had a little hole in it already. Now, this is not a salt shaker. It's not a finial. This hole was simply a way of reducing the amount of porcelain clay they had to use. And you see this a lot on figurines. In part, it is to keep the weight down, but on a piece this small, it's just to conserve materials a little. It's a little less expensive if you cut out 20-25% of the porcelain by hollowing it out a little on the underside. So I've put in this is a lamp part. It is our Finial Reducer with a shoulder, and it works on our Tidbit trays too, because the hole is the same size. Okay, so here is our puppy, and as you can see, he's off center. But I have a couple of these little pieces. I am not sure what they are. I'm going to say they are condiment dishes, Japanese lusterware. It looks like mother of pearl. It's just the lusterware is very nice on this, and a little tiny sort of peach flower in the middle. And I had already made up my mind when I got these plates that they were going to be part of a Tidbit tray, but I was not going to drill through that floral center. I'm going to drill this off center. So this will go here, and our puppy will go here. So they will balance each other. And the bottom plate, I'm thinking of it this time. I'm probably going to use this, but I'm just not 100% sure. This is a really nice floral piece that picks up the colors well, because it's got peach in it, and it's got a lot of interest going on. It's 10-sided. It's a decagon, which is straight from the Greek, 10 sides decagon. That can be our word for the day. It's got this lovely reticulation, and that will make an interesting Tidbit tray. A Tidbit tray like that, however, is probably going to be used as a jewelry tray or a cosmetics tray. That's it's not a tray that can hold a great deal of food, but it is a very pretty tray that's going to be able to hold bracelets, earrings, necklaces, pocket change, whatever. I use Tidbit trays to hold things like that. So the main bit of interest in that tray, of course, is all of the different disparate pieces, especially the little puppy. I think what's going to sell that tray is the puppy topper. Someone is going to look at that and say, oh my goodness, those are Cocker Spaniels. I think they're Cocker Spaniels. They look like Cocker Spaniels to me. They're going to say, those are Cocker Spaniels, and I love them. And that's what's going to happen with this tray. I have found the more interesting a tray is, the more quickly it will sell, the more people will gravitate toward it. So along those lines, and this brings us to our project, I have this piece. This came with a group of lusterware that I bought, and this is not lusterware. This is Fire King. This is glass. So the lustrous finish comes from the fact that it's glass, and it's not a fired-on glaze, as in lusterware. This is a vintage piece of Fire King, but it's only worth about $5. It's a fairly common piece. I believe it's called Lotus, and that's going to go onto a Tidbit tray. That is going to make a Tidbit tray extremely visually interesting. I have another piece of glass too. This is a little yellow glass. It's basically Vaseline glass. Bird candle holder. Our bird has a little, I guess it's a seed in his mouth, a little round ball in his mouth. And of course, he has a little mark in the bottom too, because he's going to be drilled. And he is going to go on top of a Tidbit tray. I don't know what people are going to put in it. I think it would be very interesting to put a candle in it. But I also think that an interesting topper like this is going to move a tidbit tray from, oh, gee, that's nice, over to, that's cool, I have to have it. And that's what you want your buyers to be thinking of when they look at your things, not just, oh, well, that's nice. You want them to say, I got to have that. I love that. That just resonates with me. I love birds. I love candles, whatever. You know, everybody has their own thing. And with my tidbit trays, I don't want to do the same tray twice. I haven't so far. That's part of the reason I use different vintage plates and different little toppers and things. I want them all to be unique so that if somebody gets something, they know they're the only person that has that. It's strictly one of a kind, not just because it's handmade, therefore all handmade things are one of a kind, but because nobody else has anything even remotely like it, because I'm not going to use those combinations again. So, to that end, we need to drill a hole. And as you can see, I have my little red dot, and that is where I'm starting my hole. Now, the bit I'm using, because I'm going to do this a little differently than the way we've done it before. If you'll recall, in the past, we used a bit that looked like this, an upside-down cone on the end of our bit, and we used it to carve out a hole in our piece, because this is a diamond tip bit and it will just grind a hole right out. Well, today we're going to start with a bit like this, which looks like the point of a pencil or an arrowhead. It is a cone shape with a sharp point, and we're going to drill through. It's a diamond bit, so it's going to grind away the glass. And one of the reasons I want to do this with something this small is because we may find times when we want to drill a very small hole. Let's say, for example, you have this little plate and you would like to hang it on the wall, and you want to drill a little hole through it so you can thread a ribbon through it to hang it on the wall. Well, you certainly don't want this huge honking 1/8 of an inch hole there. You want something small, something delicate. So we're going to give this a try. Now, full disclosure, I have never tried to drill a hole in glass this way before, so we could all be in for some awkward surprises, but we're going to give this a shot. I am using this. This is glass oil, and I will be putting this on the hole, and I'll be drilling into a wet surface. The surface will be covered with oil. That's going to do a few things for me. It's going to keep my bit and the glass from overheating. And even though I'm using the oil, I'm still going to drill in short bursts. You don't just drill continuously. It's not like a gangster movie with the machine guns, rat-a-tat-a-tat-a, just little bursts. You know, by the way, that's how you fire a machine gun too. Just in case you were wondering. Okay, enough of that. I know eventually somebody is going to say, what on earth did you do before you started making videos? All right, we'll walk away from that. But the other thing it does is it will keep the glass shards from just sort of dissipating into the air all over the place. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, because we are working with glass, is I will be using a mask. And this is just a disposable surgical mask. I keep these around for this purpose. Yeah, I know, it's funny looking. Boy, get used to it, because before the month is over, I bet we're going to see a lot of people looking like this. So this is the mask. So what is going to happen is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to re-angle the camera so that you can see my hands. I'm not going to be talking to you. First of all, this is going to make way too much noise for me to talk over. And if I start talking into the mask, I'll fog up my glasses. I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is tell you what I'm doing and then do it. And but I'm going to take out the noise of the Dremel, And I'm going to cut out the boring bits of the drilling because you don't want to watch me just drill for 10 minutes. That's boring. So that is what we're going to be looking at. I'm going to pause, realign the camera. You can watch my hands. You're going to see what I'm doing. Oh, I almost forgot. This is how I'm applying the oil. You can apply oil in a number of ways. You can use an eyedropper. You can, if you're careful, you can pour it straight out of the bottle. I prefer to just use a Q-tip and spread it into the hole. I feel I have more control that way. I'm starting with my little pointed bit, and instead of going in at an angle, I'm going to go straight through. I'm going to see how well that works. Okay, hang on. We're going to get started. Okay, we've broken through to the other side of the glass. Now I'm going to go in and open that hole up a little by using the sides of this bit to grind it out. Okay, we've opened it up a little, and I'm looking at whether or not this fits, and it does not. So, hang on, I'm going to change out my bit. The bit I have now is a straight bit with diamond along the edges, and I'm going to use that to open the hole up a little more. Okay, that did it. Now I'm setting this aside, changing the bit out again. We're going right back to our little conical pointy bit, and we're going to work on our bird. Okay, the glass on the bottom of this little bird was much thicker than our little Fire King piece, so it took a lot longer to get through. Now we're going back and doing the same thing to this. We need to open up the hole so that this piece fits in. Okay, we're back. We now have a hole in our little bird, so we can pop him on top of a tidbit tray. Now I'm going to secure him with a couple of nuts, and I might need to hollow a little of this edge out a bit to make sure he fits, because that is very thick glass and I want to make sure I get a good connection. But this is where he's going to go, on top of this tidbit tray. This piece, however, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with this exactly. I'm going to match this up to some nice plates, probably something in peach lusterware, and there we go. Now, when I was drilling, I hope you noticed that even though I started going straight through, very quickly I realized I had to go in on a slight angle. So that was to allow the sides of the bit, which are the parts that are coated with diamond, to grind away the glass. So, learning experience here. We don't go straight through. We go in on a slight angle. When we use, where is my other bit? Here it is. No, it isn't. All right. I have no idea where I put my other bit, but when we use the other bit, is this it? Yes, it is. All right. When we use this bit, we have to go in at a pretty sharp angle. We're probably about 45 degrees. When we are drilling with this one, it's just a slight angle. I'm thinking we're probably about maybe a 15, 20 degree angle, just a slight angle. Turns out it's not all that difficult after all. Am I going to do a lot of glass pieces? Not very likely, mostly because I find everything I need in the porcelains. But it's nice to know we can do it. Nice to know that it's successful. We've got a good hole. It's not ragged. The glass didn't shatter. That was my fear, frankly, because I don't trust glass. Glass tends to break in very funny ways. So we've actually been pretty successful with this. It started off as an experiment, turned into a valid project. Before we go, we have pictures, because I did want to show you the pictures of the plates that I talked about using for the Tidbit trays, and I want to show you the drill bits. But also, we've got a giveaway. Fortunately, everybody got in touch from the last giveaway, so their stuff is on its way to them. And this is another of the Dinky Loves soaps. And we're sending this out in the dish that she provided. And for those of you who follow over on Jocelyn's Facebook page, we've got a seductive angel. So that was quite a thing on the Facebook page, Seductive Angels. So here it is. We've got the Seductive Angels soap dish. I paired it up with this soap mostly because I thought it fit rather nicely under the little angel's head. The very pretty soap. This is Clean Hippie. It smells great. It really does. So you want to enter the giveaway? Respond to this video and just say thank you, Dinky, and we'll put you in for the drawing. The drawing, as you know, is conducted by Audie the Photobomb Kitty. He just picks out whatever name strikes him. It probably doesn't matter. He really can't read, so he just paws at the screen. I'm like, okay, fine, that's it. Totally random drawings, just picked at random. So do enter. And I have to apologize. My voice has been very scratchy. No, I've not contracted a virus. It's been raining here, and I've mentioned that when I've done the videos, that it's raining and overcast, and my sinuses have finally had all they can take of the wet weather. So that's all this is. This is sinusitis, nothing serious, but I know it is affecting my voice. All right, we will see you tomorrow. We're doing another haul video tomorrow, and this week I am doing an extra video. I told you I would do that while we are all sort of in enforced shutdown, and I am going to talk about emergency preparedness. That's one of the things I know a great deal about, so I thought I would share with you my system, and I'm going to do that video. The videos are going to air on Friday. So for the time being, we're going to be doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and we'll just keep it up as long as we have to. I know people are sitting around with nothing to do and all day to do it in. And I'm going to give you a little something to do. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow for a haul video, and then we will see you on Friday to start the emergency preparedness. And I know you're thinking, gee, Sue, it's like locking the barn door after the horse got away. Hey, we are going to get through this, and we are going to have plenty more emergencies to prepare for, God willing. So see you next time.